World Hypnotism Day. This is a celebration that's been going on for a long time as a way to share hypnosis with the world. So today, Ashley Lynn Caputo and I will be sharing with you the Help Out protocol for pandemic problem solving. We're going to touch on a lot of things today. It's going to be a great introduction, but let's start right in with eliminating some stress. This is just a good, well-rounded way of eliminating stress. So I'd like you to look inside for a moment, check inside yourself and determine your level of stress on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, you know, the holiday stress, the family stress, the stress of a new year, whatever it is, if there's any stress right now, just go inside and kind of find it and rate it. That scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no stress at all, 10 being, well, I'm a little stressed out about what might be happening. Just give yourself a rating. Trust yourself. If you are between a 1 and a 5, you'll only need one hand for this technique. If you're between a 5 and a 10, go ahead and use both hands for this technique. And for demonstration purposes, I'll use both. You go with whatever it is. If you're 1 to 5, bring up one hand. If you're 5 to 10, bring up both hands, okay? And just look at your hands, thinking about that stress, thinking about the stress that you want to release. As you're thinking about the stress, make a circle with your thumb and your first finger. Thinking about letting go of that stress, just curl your little finger and your ring finger down into your palm and allow all remaining stress to escape out that remaining digit. Just let it go. Just let it go. That's right. Look at the smiles on the faces here. Let me tell you a secret about that. The reason that works so effectively for stress release is because the moment you catch on to what I'm having you do in front of your camera, you laugh. Oh, I got it. And laughter really is the best medicine. The moment you smile about that or laugh about that, don't you feel better already? Think about how you can use that in your future for pandemic problem solving. The next time somebody cuts you off in traffic and you react in that kind of flip off way, you can also notice as you do that, that you are releasing stress and you can smile and you can laugh and you can just let go of all of it that way. You can do that on your own or you can do that in public. That's up to you. In just a moment, I'll teach you a stress release technique that's not quite so aggressive. And while I have no problem being the extrovert like that, you may not. So I'll teach you one that's a little easier. Also, as I said, laughter is the best medicine. So anytime you can laugh, you can reduce your stress, you can reduce all sorts of things we'll be talking about here today, and it puts you in a better frame of mind for problem solving. One of the things we'll talk about in a full day workshop on the Help Out protocol is laughnosis. We just give you a tip of the iceberg. So I want you to do this with me. Put your hand on your belly and let's do holiday events, okay? Let's do ho, 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 because we're all pretty familiar with that right about now, right? So put your hand on your belly and just do that. Ho, 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 ho. Do it out loud. Ho, 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 ho. Now, ha, 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 ha. Ho, 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 ho. Who's laughing? I see you. It's hard not to actually generate an organic laugh when you start off on purpose. That's a key. Your intention is key. And when your intention is to laugh away the problems, fake it till you make it is one of the things I've heard Ashley say a number of times. And in the full workshop, we'll do even more laughnosis for self-hypnosis. We're going to cover a bunch of stuff today, so you'll have instant techniques, and we're going to talk to you about the full pandemic problem solving help out protocol coming up. I'm Karen Hand. I'm a board certified hypnotist, trainer, and author, and I'm so thrilled to be working with my colleague here today.
Hi, and I'm Lynn Caputo, and I'm also a hypnotherapist as well as a trainer and a student yoga therapist and yoga meditation teacher.
And we've got a bunch of stuff to share with you. Now, as I promised, I'm going to teach you another instant stress reliever that's not quite as aggressive. Do this one with me. Roll your eyes up in your head as far as they can go. And as soon as you get them as far as you can go with your eyeballs up, close your eyelids down. Take a breath, a nice deep breath, and on the exhale, relax your eyeballs. Take one more deep breath. And on this exhale, let all of the muscles in your body follow your eyeballs and just relax and let go. Now, slowly as you possibly can, open your eyes and rejoin us here in the world. That is an instant stress reliever that you can do any place. Here's a little tip. Don't do this at a green light, but if you come up to a light and it just turns red as you get there, you can do this stress relief technique right there. Put your car in park, roll your eyeballs up, close your eyelids down, breathe and relax. Breathe and relax. And then slowly open your eyes and the light turns green and you move ahead, and you won't even have to be flipping anybody off because you'll be so relaxed and with yourself. A couple of techniques. Don't worry if you missed any little piece of those, because after this is over, when I send you the replay, I will also send you handouts delineating all of the techniques that we talk about here today. So that's one way to go about using hypnosis or the magic of your mind to put yourself in a different mindset for problem solving instead of problem creating. Ashley, what you got?
So one of the things I love about the breath and about even, the laughnosis or, I kind of do laughter yoga is that anytime we're using the breath or laughter, we're stimulating the vagus nerve. So we're moving into that parasympathetic. We're getting out of fight or flight. Anytime you're getting out of fight or flight and into rest and digest, then you're going to be more accessible to solving any kind of problem. So it's just fascinating.
Our help out protocol, a quick look at what it stands for. The H is for hypnosis, so you can wrap your mind around problem solving.
And the E is for energy. When we were starting to talk about doing this workshop, I had actually had COVID and some long haul symptoms. So energy was the main thing. I was so fatigued. So energy is E.
L is for lucidity, because Ashley also talked about some brain fog that goes along with being a COVID long hauler, they call them. But guess what? I haven't had COVID and I experience brain fog once in a while. It also comes with maturity. So let me just say that the brain fog can be lifted when you use the right techniques for clearing.
Mm-hmm. And P is for pain management. And pain can be brought about by the pandemic, by life in general, or by COVID symptoms or isolation.
Oh my God, isolation, absolutely. Unity is for connecting mind, body, and spirit so you feel that wholeness and ready to proceed.
And the T is for taking off. It can be taking off pandemic pounds or taking off into the future, taking off and just letting go of anything that no longer serves you.
That's the help out protocol. And we'll give you techniques all along the way for each of those issues. We've been sitting for a while. So what do you think about a little movement? Ashley, that's your expertise.
So moving into the power pose, shall we?
Sure.
So Amy Cuddy is a Harvard researcher, and she talks about a simple technique that can be done for 2 minutes a day, and it can change your physiology, your mental capabilities, and everything. And all she does is she stands in a power pose. So we can try a couple of those in a moment. But if you think about it, it kind of makes sense because in the animal kingdom, if a peacock, and I saw one of you wearing a peacock scarf, it triggered me. So a peacock, when they want to find a mate, they put up all their pretty feathers, you know, or when a cat wants to defend itself, it arches up its back and gets really big. And then here we are, well, we have something important that we want to do, and we kind of tend to shrink and get smaller. So it's affecting our minds. So Amy Cuddy has done many TED Talks about making yourself bigger. And she actually, I'm going to back up here a little bit. She actually has folks stand, you know, Wonder Woman stance. You can try it out if you like at home for 2 minutes a day. Your feet are nice and wide, your hands on your hips. You don't have to do it in front of anybody. You just do this for 2 minutes or before a job interview, anything at all. Another one she does, I'm going to sit down for this, but you can choose to stay there for a minute or so, or do this one, is like you just won a race. Like, yes. And it's amazing how just holding a posture like that, even for a few seconds, really kind of changes, as opposed to if you're folding forward. So in a yoga class, when I want people to calm down, I have them fold forward. But if I want to uplift them, I'm having them make themselves large. So I love Amy.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Ashley. You know how that works in real life? When we're not feeling so great, sometimes our shoulders roll and our heads down. If we're sad, think about something sad and your body follows. Guess what? Think about something happy or uplifting and your body will follow that too. So I don't know exactly how Ashley does it because she's a yoga master and she moves better than anybody I know. But I don't move that well anymore, but standing in that power pose is a great way to get involved. Just periodically through my day, if I'm sitting here at my computer in my office doing work all day, just taking a moment to uplift like that. Oh, yes, and it feels so good. And we all know what it means. Victory, right? So yes, that is something that you can take with you to use periodically. I don't know how you might do it, but the way I choose to do it is, and this I'm dedicated to doing for this entire year, every hour or hour and a half, every hour or so, standing, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's watching television or working on the computer or whatever, standing, getting into the power pose, moving. I heard somebody say, flap your arms like wings. Yes, bring some movement to your body. And it changes everything. It can really help you clear your heads. The body is really an important communicator, as a matter of fact. Notice how much better you feel right now, just having done a couple of those, a little bit of movement. It works magically, does it not? Think about, we'll use a little bit more mind magic here. I want you to think about something that you want. I don't know if it's a material thing or if it's an attribute, as an example, but think about something you want. Better here for this technique to think of an attribute. You want more confidence. You want more persistence. You want more, whatever it is. Think about that, something that you want more of. And now just close your eyes for a moment. And I'll ask you to just use your imagination and go back in time for you, and find a time in your life when you had that, when you were confident about something, or you were calm about something, when you had peace, whatever it is you're looking for, that attribute. Go back in time and find a time when you had that. If you've got thoughts that you've never had that, find someone who does have that and notice them completely. So you have options. Find a time in your life when you've experienced it, or find someone else that you can watch and notice now. Notice how you're standing. Notice how you're breathing. Notice the look on your face. When you have success, that happy, wonderful feeling, that confidence that you're looking for, that peace that you're looking for, notice how you're breathing and the look on your face and how you're standing. Or if you're modeling someone, notice it in them. And now imagine having that body posture, that look on your face, that mindset, As you move into your future, take that with you to a time in your future when you might need it the most. Just take that in to your life with you and notice what's different when you take that with you into your future. Notice how good it feels. Stay with that good feeling as long as you'd like. But whenever you're ready, come on back and join us here. I had one client who really wanted confidence. She got a new job and she had to do some speaking at this new job. And while she didn't have any fear of speaking particularly, was just something new for her. And she just didn't know exactly how she would be confident enough to get up and speak in front of people. And we did this technique with her. I asked if there was ever a time in her life that she was ever really confident about something. And she went back in time. And yes, she was an equestrian. And in her teenage years, she jumped hurdles with her horse. And we explored in that review of her life how she had that confidence when she rode. And she knew, oh, we practiced. We got it every movement into muscle memory. And we practiced. I was so in tune with what we were going to do and with my horse. We were so in tune. We knew exactly what we were going to do. And I asked her if she would just imagine for a moment rehearsing a speech she might make or a concept she wanted to discuss, talk about it, get it into muscle memory, really know it and make it a part of her and how that might benefit her in the future. She tried it out in her future 2 or 3 times and came back and said, that's it. I have to practice. I have to do it all. We found it all in her past. Because I am a firm believer you have everything you need to solve your problems of today because you have done it at some point in your life or you know somebody else who has done it. And so you can model somebody else. Another client, a weight loss client, didn't know exactly how she might do it, but she had lunch 2 or 3 times a week with a woman who ate everything she wanted, but was really thin. She modeled her, and what she discovered in that modeling process was that her friend always ate what she liked first. If it was dessert, she ate what she liked most first. Whatever it was, she ate what she liked first. And then when she was full, she pushed it all away because she had already eaten her favorite things anyway. My client said she ate just the opposite way, that she always saved the best bite for last so that she would end her meal feeling really great and with that great taste. And she said, so sometimes what happened, well, mostly what happened was she would be full, but she would go ahead and finish everything because after all, she saved the best for last. We tried it out for a week with her doing it just the opposite way, eating the best stuff first. She found no problem in pushing away the excess. As soon as she was full, she let it go because the stuff that was left wasn't her favorite stuff anyway. It worked just like that. So you turn your attention to a new way and you find the solution to your problem. We'll use a lot of mind-body awareness in our Help Out protocol as we go forward.
Definitely. I love what we put our focus on is what we get more of. It's so fascinating. I like to teach my clients. I use a lot of the yoga hand positions or mudras, and I'll have them just like you're doing every hour or so, standing up in a power pose. I'll have them anchor into anything that feels good every couple hours. Take a few breaths and name it. It's just amazing.
You also teach them some interesting breathing, do you not?
Yes, I do. And today we were going to talk about, well, in the full day workshop, we're going to do some EFT or emotional freedom techniques. And we'll do some more maybe advanced breathing or breath work there. But because we're on Zoom and there's a lot of you and then people will be watching, we want to do one that's very safe and kind of easy today. So it's going to be alternate nostril breathing. And we're going to do it in the easy hand position. There's a yoga hand position, but we'll do the just general public easy one. So you're going to pick either hand. And obviously, if you have a sinus infection or recent nasal surgery, that would be the only time to not do this. But you're going to take your index and peace finger and just place them on your forehead, kind of where the third eye is. You're going to block your right nostril and inhale up your left nostril. Then block the left nostril and exhale down your right nostril. And then inhaling up the right nostril, blocking that, exhaling down the left, and then inhale left nostril, seal left, Exhale down the right. Again, inhaling up the right nostril, sealing right. Exhaling down the left. And one more round, inhaling up the left. Sealing your left nostril, exhaling right. And inhaling up your right nostril, sealing that, and ending by exhaling down the left. And then releasing the hand. Just pausing for a moment, noticing any shifts. That was only 5 rounds. We usually practice about 10 rounds, but it's interesting because sometimes when we're feeling stuck or dull or lack of energy, we get kind of stuck in one hemisphere of the brain. So just like we can have hand toss or to calm yourself down, cross body lateral stimulation, you can do the same thing with the breath. It's very fascinating.
It's interesting to me that that can be done even when people are watching you, because who's going to know if you just, kind of rest your head there and then.
You can also do it psychically too. I mean, if if you had something going on, you could.
I'm just saying, I can imagine myself in a conference room with other people and just doing that for a minute to myself. Who's going to
release the middle finger, right?
Well, I'm the extrovert, so yes, I'm likely to just flip somebody off in the meeting if they upset me. But that's not everybody is quite as gregarious as I am. So we want you to find ways that you can use. All of the techniques that we use here are simple. And hypnosis and body work techniques can be simple. The easier they are, the more you're likely to use them, right? One of the biggest complaints that we've heard about COVID and life in general, aging, is pain and how to deal with pain, managing your pain. One of the simplest ways for managing pain is distracting your attention, moving your attention to something else. Let me show you what I mean by that. Play a game with me real quick, right where you are. Right in the room where you are, look around and find everything that you can find that is blue, but just blue. Find all the blue that you can find as quickly as you can find it, but just blue. Okay, now stop. Now just look for red. Find all the red in the room that you can find, but just red. Find it as quickly as you can. Now just yellow. Find all the yellow that you can find. Just the yellow. Now the green. Find all the green that you can find. That's right. Good. Okay, you can stop. So somebody, Paula, unmute yourself if you don't mind. And when we were looking for blue, I don't know about your room, but there's a lot of blue in my room. When we stopped looking for blue and started looking for red, what happened to the blue for you, Paula? You stopped paying attention to it, right? And thank you very much. Joe, would you unmute yourself? And when we stopped looking for red and started looking for yellow, what happened for you?
Red disappeared and everything that was yellow just seemed to pop out instantaneously.
Thank you. Yes, it just kind of, I have lots of books in the room here and the books start flying off the shelves at me almost in the new colors as we're looking at them. That's exactly right. Now, let me tell you about how deep a level of hypnosis you went into for that very simple exercise. If we're looking at depth testing in hypnosis, and I don't really think depth is very important, but if we look at the standard classical depth testing, negative hallucination and positive hallucination are two of the deepest levels of hypnosis. Negative hallucination is not seeing something that's right there in front of you. Not seeing something that's right there in front of you is a negative hallucination. You produce that for yourself in your own mind the moment you accepted my suggestion to move to a different color. You immediately went deep enough into hypnosis to completely negatively hallucinate the previous color, and the new color started popping out at you. You did that on your own, simply by following a very simple suggestion. And you don't need a hypnotist to do that. You do that already naturally all the time. Have you ever in the shower maybe looked down and noticed a scrape or a bruise that you hadn't noticed before? And you go, how did I get that? Well, guess what? If it's bruised or scraped, it must have been a big enough deal that it would have drawn your attention, but you were doing something else. You were so deeply involved in whatever else you were doing, you negatively hallucinated whatever scraped you or bruised you. So you are doing that quite naturally all the time. If you think it's just with cuts and bruises, forget about it. If you're married, you've seen your partner do this. I'll bet. I don't know, maybe it's just my husband, but I can be telling him a story and I'll notice, ooh, his eyes just glazed over. I just lost him. He just negatively hallucinated my voice and he's off thinking about something else entirely. You can watch it with your clients too. I know you've seen it. We do it quite naturally all the time because hypnosis is the most natural thing we do. It's just the use of our mind and our imagination. When I work with pain clients, one of the ways we deal with their pain is to focus on the pain. Oh, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? But one of the reasons we do is because I had one client who came to me after he'd had a terrible car wreck 2 years before. And he had one leg that just wouldn't work for him. It was in constant pain. As a matter of fact, he was on several pain meds a day when he came to me. And even though doctors, we did a complete checkup with the doctor said there was no nerve damage. There was nothing physiological going on that would cause that pain. So I asked the man to focus on his pain. I asked him what color it was, what texture it was, how big is it? And he said, oh, it's way bigger than me. Bing, 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 bing. His imagination made that pain bigger than he could deal with. So we narrowed his focus. And in a moment, I'm going to teach you a way to narrow your focus. But for this, we narrowed his focus down to where the pain really was. And truthfully, the injury where it was about a quarter of a size. And so when he narrowed his focus down to just that quarter, he automatically went from a 15 on a 1 to 10 pain scale down to a 3, simply by narrowing it down to where it really was. At that point, since there was no nerve damage, we could do some other things to get rid of all the residual pain and let it go now. Because his imagination was part and parcel in making that pain so bad when there was no physiological way to do it. Those are some of the things we'll talk about with pain management and how you can manage chronic pain or even some COVID pain by using the magic of your mind. It works. It really works.
Pain is so interesting too, because we take it and we identify it. We're like, I am in pain instead of I'm feeling pain. And it becomes like part of your identity. I was telling Karen earlier that, one of my first instances of hypnosis for myself was I was a child and I was a competitive dancer. And I actually was in a competition where I, had this accident where I chipped a pelvic bone and ripped all the tendons and ligaments off one leg. And, I finished the dance. So I was in a trance of I'm finishing the dance. Then, of course, they have to carry me to the hospital. And, the doctors, they didn't really know what to do. They were like, oh, this is terrible. You'll probably never dance again, maybe not even walk without a limp. And I was like, that is unacceptable. So, thankfully, my parents humored me and, let me have a little ballet bar in my bedroom there. And then I got some tapes, I'm dating myself, I think there were 8 tracks and then later cassettes of subliminal persuasion, which was, the first time I started using hypnosis. And I went on to dance many years after that. And, it was all about changing the focus. Yes, it was painful, but it wasn't the most important thing to me.
One of the things that we'll be able to use in the real world too is distracting away from things like needle phobia. With the vaccines going around, we're going to see a lot of people who have needle phobia and just don't want to get it because they're afraid of getting the needle. Well, in the full Help Out protocol, I'll teach you a way to help people erase their needle phobia. And part of it, just a hint, is simply distracting your focus. If you're thinking about something wonderful, you can only focus. Remember that color game? You can only focus on one thing at a time. While we all think we're great multitaskers, if you're a great multitasker, you're not focusing on 2 things at once. You're focusing on this thing and quickly shifting to that thing and quickly shifting to that thing and quickly shifting back. we can only focus on one thing at a time. So if you're distracted by focusing on something else, I'll also teach you a way to teach little kids how to take control of wherever the needle's going to go in. So once they're in control, they are no longer afraid of that needle. All of that's coming up in the Help Out protocol. But for right now, go on, Ashley. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. So we started talking about the loss of taste and smell, anosmia or parosmia. And I certainly had that. And it really disturbed me because I am a doTERRA wellness advocate. And for my own use and for my clients, I anchor scents into calm states or wake up states, excitement states. So now all of a sudden I'm at home, I have COVID, I just had a total hip replacement. The doctor is telling me maybe I can't smell because I might have breathing problems and this and that. And so they're panicking me more. I go to smell my lavender and I'm like, I can't smell it. So I started doing research, and sure enough, they were using essential oils to retrain. They called it scent training. And so I started, I mean, at first I couldn't obviously smell it, but I started practicing and remembering the scent of lavender or a different scent in my mind. So I started using that, and it was very fascinating work. So in our full day workshop, we're actually, if you sign up in advance, we're actually going to snail mail you some samples of essential oils to have a little game that we'll play with that and testing the scents and stuff. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to invite you, if you will, to either soften or close your eyes for a moment. And just imagine that I walked back into our Zoom room here with a nice silver tray. And on my tray, I had a big yellow juicy lemon. I'm going to take a knife and very carefully slice into that lemon. I'm going to hand each and every one of you a lemon wedge. Socially distanced, of course. You're going to take your lemon wedge, bring it up to your mouth and squeeze that lemon wedge till the juice spritzes up. I don't know if it's going into your nose or the back of your throat. Then you're going to bite into your lemon wedge. That's right. And then take another breath and come on back to the room. So that was interesting. I saw lots of faces. I'm not sure if you like lemons or not. What did you guys experience? Anyone want to unmute?
It in my mouth more, and I know that I squinted at the sour.
And you don't have the lemon there, do you, Paula? Yeah, I didn't have one either, but I certainly went along with it. Toni, how did you react to that? If you don't mind unmuting yourself.
I think I'm unmuted.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Yeah, as soon as she said lemon, as soon as the yellow and the sour, it's like I could feel my mouth puckering.
We have a lot of hypnotists on here, so I figure you would be easy. I'm easy. I just like you,
Yeah.
Toni. Mention lemon, and yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I'm there because we've done this lemon exercise so many times. But it works also with your clients, with anyone, to teach them how to use the magic of their mind. And Ashley, thank you, Toni, very much. Are they discovering, Ashley, that this actually using the essential oils and just the imagination helps restore the taste and smell?
So you're helping to fire the neurons to reconnect. They say it's the olfactory and possibly trigeminal nerves that have a little bit of damage with COVID in particular, but any virus actually, not just COVID. It's just a lot of us all at once lost it here. And so anytime you're practicing something, it's just like muscle memory. You're refiring those neurons. So you're helping yourself. It's fascinating.
And in the workshop, we'll talk about using the essential oils, but also the magic of the imagination. Because that's what we used here to create that pucker, or the salivation, was the magic of the imagination. The French have it down pat. They bring out a plate to you and it's so beautifully prepared. There'll be 3 tiny sprigs of asparagus and 2 little tiny medallions of beef and something drizzled over it. And you look at that and say, that's beautiful, but is that a meal? And it's amazing. When you eat that beautifully prepared meal, it can be quite filling, because you also fill up the senses, the eyes, the smell, the taste. So we're going to be helping people revive that sense of taste and smell, but also other things that have been lost through COVID. A lot of things got lost in COVID, including people. Our sense of security, our sense of trust, our sense of peace. We'll be helping you come up with ways to actually turn your attention to bringing back that sense of trust in your body, trust in yourself. And let's now do another very simple technique. Again, there are many hypnotists here, so this will not be foreign to you, but it's a great way to teach the general public or anyone how to go into hypnosis, how to effectively go into your mind, and how easy it really can be. Some of us think because we're hypnotists that we have to do deepening and countdowns and all of that kind of stuff. And yes, if that works for you, please continue to use it. But we humans hypnotize ourselves so easily all the time that it's really simple to do. I'll teach you a very simple technique for getting out of your head and into your mind right here and right now. So again, just look around the room, notice what's in the room, kind of give it one last look, and then close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, you can still remember that room. You can remember what's on the far wall across from you. You know what's behind you, what's to your left and what's to your right. You know about the room that you're in. If you don't mind, narrow your focus. Narrow your focus now to just a 1 foot square around you. Just the things right in proximity with you, and begin to notice. Begin to notice the things that are right around you. Maybe it's an air temperature. Maybe it's a smell. Maybe you can feel the chair you're sitting on. If you don't mind, narrow your focus even more, right down to your person, the boundary created by your skin. You might be able to notice your arm resting on something. You might notice the shirt on your back. You might notice how you feel right there, your hand resting maybe on your lap or on a table. Just notice it. And now narrow your focus even further inside. Notice what you can notice inside your body, the beating of your heart, pumping of your blood, the air going in and out of your lungs. Deep inside your mind is the seed of something that you really want. It's the seed of something you might want to accomplish this year, or this week, or even today. Focus your attention for a moment on that thing that you want. And notice the easiest and smallest step it would take to move in that direction. The easiest and smallest first step that you can take in that direction. Maybe it's returning phone calls today. Well, an easy step would be to have your phone in your hand. So just explore the easiest, smallest first step that you can make. And if you're an overachiever, go ahead. You might notice the second step and the third step, but bring back with you that first, smallest step and the intention to take that step today as soon as possible. Ready to bring that back with you? Notice your breathing and your heartbeat. Notice your skin and what your arms or hands are resting upon. You can notice the chair pushing up into your butt or your back. Bring it all the way around to expand your circle out to things around you, 1 foot out, 2 feet out, and all through the room. Expand it out into your universe because you have a plan for today. You have a plan for that first, easiest step that you can take now. Who has their first, easiest step? Paul, would you unmute yourself?
Yes.
What's your first easiest step?
Well, I'm going to need a lot more paper to put in the printer than I have on hand, so I have to go to the basement and get a stack of paper and before I can do what I want to do. Step 2.
So once there was a block, I don't have enough paper. Now you have an action plan to eliminate that block. Anybody else come up with their first simplest step? Brenda, you had your hand up. Did you want to share?
Hi. Yeah, my first simplest step is basically to go downstairs. Excuse me, go downstairs where I work out and actually do it.
So the first simplest step is just going downstairs, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Notice the magic of the mind. Thank you, Brenda, for that. I appreciate that. I'm not exactly sure how you were thinking about it, but I'm going to just share this. Notice that when one is thinking about, in this case, oh, I got to go work out. It's so hard. Oh, I don't want to face those machines. I don't know exactly how it goes, but it can be a monumental thing. But if you just take the first smallest step, well, Brenda probably is out. Yes, all right, I can walk down the stairs. That's no big deal. Once you get down the stairs and you're looking at it, okay, yes, I can step on the treadmill. Well, I can probably turn it on and I'll go real slow. Whatever the first smallest steps are, guess what? You're taking steps in that direction. And you came up with that first smallest step simply by getting out of your head, which said, oh no, this is too big. I got a block. I can't do it. And getting into your mind. Because when you took the suggestion to come up with the first smallest, easiest step, your mind said, sure, that's easy. A weight loss client that I had was a confessed couch potato. She said she hadn't moved for 2 years. And she wanted to exercise more. Well, we didn't start by running a marathon. We started small. I asked her, what do you do while you brush your teeth? Just nothing, stand there and brush my teeth. I said, I wonder what would happen if you marched in place. And she said, well, I have a Sonicare. It goes for 2 minutes. I can march in place for 2 minutes while I'm brushing my teeth. That's easy, but that's not really exercise. Guess what? If she marches in place for 2 minutes, it's a whole lot more exercise than she did yesterday. And the only fair comparison we can make is to the comparison of us today to us from yesterday. So if she was a couch potato yesterday and she's marching for 2 minutes in place today, twice a day, in the morning and at night, that's a big improvement. And the more you do that, as I worked with that client, it was so successful marching in place that she came up with other places she could march in place. When she was filling up her water bottle at the refrigerator, when she was waiting for the Keurig to make her coffee, when she was standing in line at a grocery store, she could just march in place, move back and forth. And she discovered that once she decided she can do the easy stuff, it was far easier for her to come up with more things to do. Within about a month and a half, she was walking upstairs just because she could. Success breeds success. So that's what we want you to do. Start small and succeed. Which leads us to
our taking off. So taking off can be a lot of things, as we already talked about. It can be just taking off into the new year, taking off the pandemic pounds, or, just taking off into happy times, more, whatever you want more of. So again, I'm going to invite you guys, if you will, to stand up, and you'll want a little circle about 2 feet around you. I'm going to remain seated so I can safely watch. Very good. So we'll be standing for this exercise. So you just want that space. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes now. Now that you're feeling more relaxed and in control here from all the self-work that you've already done today, I'd like to invite you to think back to the time when those really good feelings that you pulled up earlier were present. You maybe felt peaceful, excited, empowered, anything at all, any of those really good, really awesome feelings that you do want more of. a time when you reached and then exceeded your personal goals, a time when your energy was abundant and you had all the clarity you ever needed. Things were easy and they seemed to be going your way. You were on top of the world. You were in control and confident of your actions. You felt comfortable in your body and your mind. You knew what to do, how to do it, and you did it well. A time you felt connected to others, the world, and everyone in it, and everything was wonderful. Now, in your mind, just recreate those very emotions that you felt at that time. Just letting them come up, whatever they were for you. There's no way for you to do this wrong. Feeling those feelings, re-experiencing the power you felt, the clarity, the connection, the peace, anything good at all. And that's right. Allow yourself to feel all of those feelings again, here now. Now imagine you're standing under a clear blue sky with beautiful white puffy clouds overhead, and you have an imaginary stick of chalk in your hand. With that chalk in your mind's eye, you're going to draw a big white circle on the ground. Just seeing the circle, maybe hearing the chalk on the ground, feeling it in your hand, easily and automatically creates wonderful feelings for you. This is your circle of excellence, and you always have a stick of imaginary chalk in your mind. You can draw this circle around you anytime you wish, anywhere you might be for the rest of your life. I'd like to invite you to step into your circle, and as you do so, notice how all of those amazing feelings, all of that energy, clarity, connection to others, peace, confidence, comfort in the mind and the body, ease, a sense of everything just flowing easily and effortlessly rushes through you from your head all the way down to your toes. You can even imagine making all of those amazing feelings bigger and bolder and stronger and brighter, turning them up like you would a dial on an old radio. And those feelings really rushing through every nerve, cell, and tissue fiber now. That's right. If you like, you can even name this feeling with a word or phrase, a song, an image, anything at all, but naming it and maybe taking a few of those full breaths into it, anchoring into it, so that any time you do want to re-experience these feelings, you can draw your circle, take your breath, repeat your word or phrase, and feel all of these amazing feelings washing over you again. Like you're fresh out of the shower or traveling back through time and actually reliving those good times. That's right. Excellent. And then taking another breath and coming on back to the room. Beautiful. So anybody want to share what their circle was like?
I have a pair of booties from, low-heeled booties that are kind of a bronzy color. And it's been a couple years ago, and this is before I bought those boots, but I had a great day with clients. It was just one of those days where everything flowed smoothly. I felt like I was floating on air. I don't remember the clients at all, but it was just that great feeling of like, yes, these people felt better when they left. So anyway, I went shopping after my my day at my office, and I saw those boots and I thought, those are me. And I put them on and I anchored in that feeling of floating and feeling really good about it. And so I call them my power boots. They're a little scuffed up. I haven't worn them in a while, but when I put those on, it's like, yes, that there is that feeling. So I sort of put that into my circle. But it felt really good. I can go right back there.
I can't, I'm kind of embarrassed. I cannot remember the singer's name, but all of a sudden the song, It's Just a Perfect Day, started singing out loud, and it was just so amazing because in my mind, my day was filled with all the juiciness of life and being with someone I loved, spending the day and creating that perfect day with them.
Is it amazing how just thinking of that song can uplift your mood?
Yeah.
I can remember I had a difficult mother. I know I'm the only one in the group who had one of those, but I had a difficult mother. And so occasionally when she was on my last nerve, I would pull out my iPad or my phone. I would put on some music. I happen to be a very big Adam Lambert fan, and I can put on anything Adam Lambert, and it takes me out of that, whatever it is that's created there, and moves me into a different place. If I've got to do chores around the house, Alexa, play Adam Lambert, and I can do chores all day. And his song Superpower is about taking back your power. And Nancy, his song Superpower does exactly the same thing for me as you were just talking about with that song. It is amazing how our minds work, is it not? So that is the tip of the iceberg of the Help Out protocol, how to use your mind and the magic of your mind to change circumstances in your life that you don't like, even if physiologically, because of COVID, as an example, you lose your taste and smell. You can get it back when you appropriately use your mind. And what we're offering for you, we wanted to give you some techniques today that you can take into the world with you as we continue to navigate this pandemic stuff. On May 24th, Ashley and I will do a full day workshop on the Help Out protocol, giving you a number of different techniques to deal with pain, to deal with lucidity, to deal with smell and taste, and bringing back the you that you want to be. That's May 24th. It's scheduled right now for Orlando live. If the world is still in a problem on May 24th, which is likely, I guess, we'll do it by Zoom. So we'll be available to you live or by Zoom. Save the date, May 24th. And if you want information on registering, go to KarenHand.com. Under the trainings or events page, you'll find all the information for the full day workshop. It's the Help Out protocol, pandemic problem solving. And we hope to see you May 24th, either on Zoom or in person. In the meantime, you can always get in touch with us. We're eager to answer any questions that you might have. Ashley, how do we get in touch with you?
Yes, email unwindthemindllc@gmail.com.
And you can reach me at KarenHand.com. You can also find out everything you need to know about registering for the May 24th event at KarenHand.com/world-hypnotism-day-2021. That's where all the info is. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you spending this time and celebrating World Hypnotism Day. And I just want to send you off with a little story that it reminds me of. Reminds me of that old Cherokee chief. You know, his grandson came over one day and said, "Granddad, I've got problems in my life and I don't know how to solve them. It seems like I've got two wolves in my head. One is always arguing with the other." And the old Cherokee chief said, "Yes, grandson, we all have what seems to be two wolves in our head. One is evil and angry and resentful, and the other is love and passion and joy. And yes, they often fight to be the alpha." And the grandson said, but who wins, Grandpa? Who wins?" "The one you feed, son. The one you feed. Feed the ideas of your success and watch them multiply. Because just like in the color game, what you go looking for, you're going to find. Go looking for what you want." Hope to see you on May 24th. If not, in between now and then, be in touch, please. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Good to see everybody. Happy New Year and happy World Hypnotism Day.